big shout out to Iceni for sending this info our way.
Wow.
On Greenhouse Feeding BioEnhancer. I mean, you guys are really the reason we can do these deep dives. So keep those suggestions coming. And hey, while you're at it, hit that subscribe button, like the video, tell your friends. You know, the more support we get, the more deep dives we can do. So let's spread the knowledge, right? Okay? So today we're diving into something pretty revolutionary in the world of plant care. Greenhouse Feeding BioEnhancer. This isn't just some basic fertilizer. This stuff is an award-winning supplement.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it takes this whole different approach. You see most fertilizers just dump a bunch of nutrients on the plants.
Right.
But BioEnhancer focuses on creating like the ideal conditions for plants to thrive naturally.
Okay, I'm listening.
The secret sauce here is the synergistic blend of 3 key components. We've got beneficial microorganisms, humic acids, and seaweed extract.
Okay, you've definitely got my attention now. So let's break it down. Starting with those beneficial microorganisms, what are they and what kind of magic are they doing?
Well, the real stars of the show are these things called mycorrhizae.
Mycorrhizae?
Yeah, they're a type of beneficial fungi. And they form this symbiotic relationship with plant roots.
Symbiotic?
Yeah, so basically they expand the plant's network for absorbing nutrients. Imagine these microscopic fungal threads weaving themselves into the plant's roots.
Wow.
Increasing the surface area for water and nutrient uptake by up to 700%.
Wait, 700%? Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like upgrading the plant's plumbing to a superhighway.
That's insane. So the plant gets this huge nutrient boost.
Right.
But what's in it for the mycorrhizae? It can't just be all given, no take, right?
You're exactly right. It's a win-win situation. The mycorrhizae get sugars produced by the plant through photosynthesis,
Okay.
which they need to survive. And in return, they give the plant this massive network to access nutrients and water. It's like sharing notes with a study buddy. You both benefit and ace the exam.
I love that analogy. Okay, so we've got the mycorrhizae expanding the plant's reach. What about these humic acids? I've heard the term, but I'm not really sure what they do.
Think of humic acids like tiny Uber drivers for nutrients in the soil. They basically grab onto these nutrients and deliver them straight to the plant roots, making them readily available. Without humic acids, those nutrients would just be stuck in the soil.
So they're like unlocking the hidden potential in the soil.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing nutrient availability and absorption, which ultimately leads to stronger, healthier plants.
Gotcha. Now on to the third ingredient in this plant power-up potion, seaweed extract. Yes. What did that do?
Seaweed extract is like a superfood smoothie for plants. It's packed with vitamins, minerals, and growth hormones.
So it's not just about keeping them alive.
No, it's about helping them thrive. It's the difference between just existing and truly flourishing.
I like that. And I can't help but notice this emphasis on plant immunity. How does BioEnhancer help plants fight off diseases and pests?
Well, the beneficial microorganisms in BioEnhancer create this competitive environment in the soil around the plant's roots.
Oh, interesting.
These good guys outcompete the harmful pathogens for resources and space.
Makes sense.
It's like having a well-trained army defending a fortress.
So it's like a protective shield for the plant's roots.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about how BioEnhancer makes for healthier, more resilient plants.
Right.
But does that translate to a better harvest? I mean, tastier food. That's what we all want at the end of the day, right?
You're absolutely right. And that's the beautiful thing about this holistic approach. By optimizing nutrient uptake and boosting plant health, BioEnhancer leads to bigger harvests with higher quality crops. More fruits, vegetables, or flowers, all bursting with flavor and packed with nutrients.
So you get more delicious and nutritious food. I'm sold. But let's zoom out a bit. Does this all tie into sustainability at all?
Absolutely. But reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers and pesticides.
Okay.
BioEnhancer really minimizes the environmental impact of agriculture.
Right.
Plus, it improves soil health and creates a thriving ecosystem, so it contributes to long-term productivity. That's amazing. And get this, BioEnhancer has won a bunch of awards.
Oh, yeah.
Hydroponics and Greenhouse Product of the Year, Best New Product, and Sustainable Agriculture Product of the Year.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's making some serious waves in the world of plant nutrition.
It really shows a shift towards more natural and sustainable solutions in agriculture.
It's not just about getting the most out of our plants. It's about finding that harmony between our needs and the health of the planet.
Exactly. And BioEnhancer embodies that philosophy.
I'm already blown away by the potential of this stuff.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive,
I
have one more question for you.
Okay, shoot.
We've been talking about all these amazing benefits for plants.
Right.
But it makes me wonder, Could this approach of nurturing beneficial relationships and boosting natural defenses also apply to human health?
Hmm.
Could we learn something from plants about how to take care of ourselves?
It's a fascinating question.
It really is.
And it's one we'll be exploring in part 2 of this deep dive.
Can't wait. But for now, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What are your initial reactions to this idea? Share your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. We'll see you in part 2.
Yeah, that's a really fascinating question. The connections between plant and human health are becoming more and more apparent, especially when we look at the microbiome.
Yeah, you know what? I've been hearing more about the microbiome, but I have to admit, I'm still a bit fuzzy on the details. What is it exactly, and why is it so important for us?
Well, in a nutshell, the microbiome refers to all the trillions of microorganisms that live in and on our bodies, mostly in our gut.
Trillion.
It's like this whole bustling inner city, a complex ecosystem of bacteria, fungi, viruses, and other microbes.
So it's like an internal garden,
Hmm.
but with microbes instead of plants.
Exactly. And just like BioEnhancer creates this thriving environment for plants, a healthy microbiome is essential for us to thrive. These microbes help us digest food, produce vitamins, regulate our immune system. They even influence our mood and behavior.
Wow. I knew it was important, but I had no idea it was involved in so many things.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing, and we're really just beginning to understand the full impact.
So a balanced and diverse microbiome is key.
Absolutely.
Okay, so circling back to BioEnhancer, we talked about how it promotes a healthy balance of microorganisms in the soil to protect plants from disease. Could we do something similar with our gut microbiome?
That's the big question, and there's a ton of research going on right now exploring ways to influence our gut microbiome through things like diet and probiotics.
Really?
Just like we introduce those beneficial microbes to the soil with BioEnhancer, we can also cultivate a healthier gut microbiome.
So what we eat can actually make a difference.
Absolutely. A diet rich in fiber, fruits, vegetables, and fermented foods is like fertilizer for our good gut bacteria.
Okay.
These foods provide prebiotics, which are basically food for probiotics, the beneficial bacteria we want to encourage in our gut.
So it's not just about popping a probiotic pill.
Right, it's about creating the right environment for those good bacteria to thrive. Just like plants need healthy soil, our gut bacteria need the right nutrients.
So it's more about supporting the good guys than fighting off the bad guys.
Exactly. It's a shift in thinking that's happening in both agriculture and human health. And that's what's so interesting about BioEnhancer. It shows us the power of working with nature to achieve optimal health for plants. And potentially for us, too.
I'm starting to see how we can learn from the plant world when it comes to our own health.
There are so many parallels, and this whole idea of boosting natural defenses is super exciting, both in plants and humans.
You mentioned the microbiome plays a role in regulating our immune system. How does that work?
Well, think of our immune system as a complex security system, always on the lookout for threats.
Right.
A healthy gut microbiome helps to train our immune system to differentiate between friend and foe.
So it keeps our immune system sharp.
Exactly. But when the gut microbiome is out of balance, it can throw our immune system off, making us more vulnerable to infections, allergies, and even autoimmune diseases.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So just like BioEnhancer helps plants resist diseases, a healthy microbiome can strengthen our immune defenses too.
It's incredible to think about this whole interconnected world inside of us.
It really is. And we're only just beginning to understand it. The potential for improving both plant and human health is huge.
I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to my gut health from now on.
Yeah.
But before we move on to our final thoughts, I think it's important to be cautious.
Oh.
We've been making these connections between plant and human health.
Yeah.
And I know some listeners might jump to conclusions about specific treatments.
Right. We need to remember that we're looking at this from a scientific perspective. And while the research is promising, it's important to consult with healthcare professionals.
Absolutely. This isn't a substitute for medical advice.
Yeah.
Always talk to your doctor.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between curiosity and caution.
Well said. Okay, so speaking of new perspectives, let's move on to our final thoughts in part 3. As we wrap up our deep dive into greenhouse feeding BioEnhancer and this whole world of symbiotic relationships and natural defenses, it makes me think that this approach could go way beyond just plants and human health.
You're absolutely right. This idea of working with nature, fostering these symbiotic relationships that help everyone involved, it has so much potential. It could change how we tackle some of the biggest challenges facing our planet.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Well, think about the environmental crisis we're in. Climate change, pollution. biodiversity loss. These are huge issues, and they can feel overwhelming. And our first instinct is often to fight these problems, to try and control nature.
Yeah.
But what if instead of fighting, we focused on working with nature? What if we embraced symbiosis and natural defenses to find solutions that benefit both us and the planet?
So instead of trying to dominate nature, we could learn to cooperate with it.
Exactly. BioEnhancer is a perfect example. It's not about forcing plants to grow. It's about creating the right conditions for them to thrive on their own. And we can apply that same thinking to our relationship with the whole environment.
It's like shifting from competition to cooperation, finding those win-win situations where everyone benefits.
Exactly. It's like expanding our idea of community to include the whole ecosystem.
Because we're not separate from nature. We're a part of it.
Right. And by understanding and respecting these interconnected systems, we can find solutions that work for everyone. It takes a change in mindset, though, a willingness to try new things.
And that's where innovation comes in, right? We need to develop new technologies and solutions that are inspired by nature.
Absolutely. BioEnhancer is more than just a plant supplement. It represents a new way of thinking about how we interact with the natural world.
It's a reminder that nature holds the answers.
If we're willing to listen.
This has been such an amazing journey. I feel like I've learned so much about everything, from plant care to human health to the environment. It's inspiring to think about what's possible when we change our perspective and embrace the wisdom of nature.
I'm glad to hear that. And I hope it inspires you and everyone listening to keep exploring these ideas.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away?
I'd say the most important message is that nature is an incredible teacher. By observing and understanding how things like symbiosis and natural defenses work in the natural world, we can find solutions to some of our biggest problems. It's about recognizing that we're all connected and that working with nature, not against it, is how we'll create a healthier, more sustainable future.
That's a great message to end on. It reminds us that learning from nature is a journey, and it's a journey we can all take together.
We have so much to learn if we're just open to it.
A huge thank you to everyone for joining us on this incredible deep dive. We hope you found it as fascinating as we did. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends so we can keep these deep dives coming. Keep those curious minds engaged. Until next time, happy exploring.